event during which more than 26 million voters wait to renew the mandate of the country's mayors and 257 municipal councils, is one of the most competitive in the country's history due to the record number of candidates running.
The Nkok Special Economic Zone, the flagship of the Gabonese economy in 10 years, has been ranked as the best industrial zone in the world in the timber sector by FDI Intelligence, a service from the Financial Times in 2020. According to Managing Director Arise IIP, and Arise is Gabon, the country obtained carbon neutral certification less than a month ago. The nation, which is still dependent on oil, has undertaken a series of actions in favor of the transition to a green economy by relying on the ecosystems and the climatic and meteorological conditions of its territory. Tracer aims to contribute to the preservation of Gabon's wildlife and its vegetation. Tracer created an independent agency that will verify and made up of two entities called Forest Resources Management, which is a private French company that has been involved in forest management in the Congo Basin for 30 years, and Brain Forest, a Gabonese NGO that specializes in all aspects of governance and respect of people's rights in Gabon. The main challenge of the Green Gabon operational plan is to reconcile the needs of current generations with those of future generations. However, human-wildlife conflicts risk compromising the biodiversity of the country's conservation efforts. Also, the human-wildlife conflict in Gabon is a situation where the populations pay a heavy price to benefit of international conservation. It is this challenge that must be resolved. This is why ICAS and the United Nations are called upon to help the country find the best mechanism.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, holds more than 60% of the 240 million hectares of the Congo Basin forest area, but the second largest forest reserve in the world after the Amazon is endangered by deforestation. Speaking at the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow on Tuesday, President Tshisekedi, who currently chairs the African Union, said his country will increase its determined contribution at the national level to achieve a 21% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, launching a program aimed at planting 1 billion trees by 2023 and expanding the energy mix to include greener choices. Felix Tshisekedi also stressed that the protection of the right of local communities and indigenous people is essential for the Congolese president. Industrialization in the region, if not in all Africa, implies respecting these categories of people, including agricultural investment and forest governance. The measures are in line with the Green Recovery Plan for Africa, launched by Tshisekedi in his capacity as President of the African Union, aimed at strengthening actions in favor of environmental sustainability and prosperity in Africa. In all, more than 100 countries are pledging to end deforestation, which scientists say it is a major drive for climate change.
As we know it. But bring that carbon back down to earth through the magic of photosynthesis into trees, plants, crops, and soil, and this brings life and vitality. Today, 2/3 of the land in Africa is degraded, but this can be reversed. Restoration can improve soil fertility, raise yields, and improve food security, make water more reliable, create jobs, and boost economic growth, while also sequestering carbon. Continent-wide initiatives like Africa 100 and the Great Green Wall offer significant hope. They must now be scaled up. Ahead of COP27 next year, the Bezos Earth Fund would be eager to participate in a concerted strategy led by African nations to seriously and effectively ramp up support for restoration on the continent. However, we cannot rely only on governments, NGOs, and philanthropies to solve the climate crisis. The private sector must also play its part to reduce carbon emissions. Companies need to take leadership positions. Amazon has co-founded the Climate Pledge with Cristiane Figueres and set a goal to reach net zero carbon by 2040.
For the President Joe Biden, it is a turning point in the battle against COVID-19, a turning point thanks to the launch yesterday in the United States of the Pfizer vaccination of 28 million young children aged 5 to 11 years. Now eligible only a few days after the recommendation of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, young American children will have the right to 2 doses with 3 weeks difference, but for a different dosage than that of adults. The first injections are available as soon as this agreement is announced, thanks to the anticipation of the American government to provide the whole territory with a sufficient quantity of Pfizer's doses. In view of the figures reporting more than 1.9 million cases of COVID-19 recorded in the 5-11 years old, the country intends to provide an adequate response to the transmission of the pandemic, not this segment of the population considered responsible for the spread of the pandemic. According to the forecast announced by the White House, the vaccination campaign for 5-11 years old will reach its full capacity for the week of November 8.
Egypt's transportation system will contribute significantly to achieving sustainable development and changing the face of life throughout the country. According to the Minister of Transport, the 10-year plan implemented from 2014 to 2024 was drawn up to modernize the transport and communication sectors at an expected cost of 1,669 trillion Egyptian pounds, about $106.3 billion. The plan covers 6 main areas, including the roads and bridges at the cost of 474 billion Egyptian pounds, railways, 225 billion pounds, tunnels and electric traction, 137 billion pounds, maritime transport, 115 billion pounds, dry ports and logistics, 15 billion pounds, and river transport, 3 billion pounds. Over the past 7 years, projects worth 1,295 trillion Egyptian pounds have already been implemented, according to the minister, noting that a number of large projects will be completed by the end of this year, while other projects, such as the light rail train, will be finalized by the end of 2022. In addition to that, around 30,000 kilometers of new and developed roads will be completed by the end of 2024. With the completion of the transport and road system in 2024, Egypt would be turned into a regional and international hub for transport and logistics. Also, Egypt has plans to link with other North African countries, including building a road that will run through the country, Libya, Chad, and Niger.
Gabon is the first African country to be rewarded for its efforts against deforestation. How? The details in this newscast. South Africa's ruling African National Congress ANC came out on top in local elections. That's the end of our newscast of the day, but keep watching Gabon 24 for further news.